Okay, here we go. I can show them how to do it when I'm in the zone. Before we start, let me puff that indigo. If I thrust, guaranteed you gon' feel it though. My intro for this real shit. When I walked the bridge and we built it. Two hoes got the boy on kill clip. My team good and we rollin'. It ain't really hard to see that I'm fresher. I'm a F5 with Brock Lesnar. We ain't got time to listen. Yo, lecture, let him put the title up and I get your bitch. Ask any ex, we ain't never made up. When the times got rough, we ain't never gave up. Boy, you next to the one like Morpheus. So the NLO can't fuck with us. That's real talk in this purple rain. Know some real dudes that'll bring the pain. Stay fresh, rock shades like Johnny K. So they got a bad bitch, don't sew on your blade. He ain't put in work, we can ask your girl. Mad cause he said I'm the best in the world. When it comes to the game, they honor me. I destroy your league, Sean Connery.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Dead on Dave, and I'm here live with you for the next 2 hours as I take your questions on wrestling, sports, and life. Anything that you have to talk about, you want to call in on Skype, you can do so at davidvancura, DavidVancura. Call in and we'll have a good old time. We got a lot to get to. We had an amazing event in Tokyo that I want to talk about. I'm sure a lot of people want to get into. But I want to, and I'm going to kind of start there. But I also want to start with something that's I'm having a little bit of a rage day. I'm having rage issues. Like I feel like I'm exploding out of my head with anger. So I want to kind of start with that. I'm getting a lot of people writing things. I'm seeing a lot of things written on the Tokyo event. And now remember, this is just my opinion. I can be completely wrong. It's an opinion on a wrestling event and how it was booked. It absolutely means nothing as far as what I'm saying. Now, that being said, I do feel that I'm right here and most people are wrong. Now, that's just because you're supposed to believe in your opinions, but I could easily be wrong and everybody's right to feel the way they want to. So let's get into what I am ranting about. A lot of people are writing about the Tokyo show and complaining about a few factors of it. And on one of these, there's three main factors people are bitching about. And on one of these, I'm going to completely go with them on it. And that's the fact that John Cena should not have closed the show. You're 100% right. Everybody's complaining about it. You're 100% justified and right for complaining. John Cena should not have closed that show. It's ridiculous. When you're looking at it as if it was like a pay-per-view, a Monday Night Raw, or anything like that. WWE wasn't booking it like that. WWE was booking this as it was a house show, okay? And I think that's very important to when you're thinking of the thought process of the hows and whys on as far as why they booked it the way they did. They don't go to Tokyo. This is the first time they've ever broadcast from Tokyo. They've gone to Tokyo, but as long as or Japan in general, not just Tokyo, but this is the first time they've ever broadcast live from Tokyo. They just don't do it. So, in essence, this was a house show. If you look at the matchups, so you look at how most, aside from the two championship matches, nothing else had any storyline impact. Nothing else had anything to do with storyline. All the other matches, even the dark matches, Cesaro and Diego. Nothing there. New Day and Lucha Dragons, you can say, but there's only so many tag teams. It's not like they're in a feud or anything like that. It was just a match that would have been good in the tag team division to see. The tag match that ended the show, another one. It has nothing to do with anything. With Dolph Ziggler and John Cena teaming against Wade Barrett and Kane teaming, it doesn't make any sense. Who cares about those two teams? It was just four big stars that they put in to close the show. I think the biggest point to all of that is Brock Lesnar and Kofi Kingston. Why have Brock take on Kofi? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But it was booked like it was a house show. It was there. Brock was booked that way as just because it was a big gimmick of having Brock there. It was a spectacle, He hasn't been to Japan in a very long time. So there was all of these factors as to why they were booking it the way they did. Now, all that being said, it's still indefensible to have John Cena close out the show there, and it's the reason why so many people can't stand John Cena. Now, I am deciding to not let that match ruin the rest of the show for me because I think if that match is placed anywhere else on the card, it's perfectly acceptable. So that, to me, that's just a qualm. It's just something you're having a little bit of an issue with, and it's not a big deal. It's a blip on the radar as far as I'm concerned. Now, something else that people are freaking out about is the fact that Jericho went over Neville. In fact, I've been friggin' debating back and forth with somebody on Twitter most of the day today over it, and that says a lot more about me than it does him. But still, it's okay that Jericho beat Neville. It's completely fine. Jericho made his name in Japan. He's a very big star in Japan. They love Chris Jericho in Japan. He's huge. He worked as a heel in this match. It was a very competitive match with Neville. It was very exciting. Neville got a lot of offense in towards the end. It was a very, very good match, and Neville has absolutely nothing to be despondent about. This was not a burial. This was not a squash. Neville has lost to the top guys in the company consistently since he has arrived on the scene. They are making him pay his dues and showing where his line is, who he can beat and who he's not going to be able to beat. And this was consistent within that. Now, if this was another ordinary house show, there's a very good possibility that Neville's going to win that match. If they have another match in the series at a house show, it wouldn't surprise me if Neville got the pin. Why? Because it doesn't matter. These have no degree of anything. It does not affect anything that's happening in the real storylines as far as, his progress in the company. I mean, it really doesn't mean anything. It's for the entertainment of the house shows. So what they did was they took two guys like Neville and Jericho, put them in a match together and let them absolutely tear it down, which they did. Great storytelling, great mat technician, great high-flying ability. It was just fantastic. The match was well done. Jericho winning doesn't change how good that match was, nor does it take anything away from Neville. If anything, the consistency of that they've had him lose to guys who are Hall of Famers in the future is just kind of the status quo of where Neville is, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I think in losing to Jericho in the manner that he did, Jericho bust out the Lion Tamer, not just the basic walls of Jericho, I think is very telling about not only what they felt about Japan and Jericho's love for Japan, the fact that he would bust them out, bust those moves out, but Michael Cole would actually, say the name of them. I mean, these are names that were used in other companies. Usually when you come over from another company, whether it be WCW, New Japan, whatever, they rename everything. They rename you, they rename all your moves. You don't get to keep that stuff. But the fact that they made reference to it shows the respect towards Japan. So I think that just kind of goes in that same line. And it's completely fine that Jericho won this match. I have no issues with it. I think it was a good decision. The fact it was a great match. And Neville looks really good pushing Jericho as hard as he did. I'm thrilled with it, as a matter of fact. I thought it went really well. It was a very, very fun event. It was a fun match. I had a blast. The other thing, the last thing, and this really isn't about the show as much as it is, just in general. And this kind of goes in that same point. Just because somebody loses does not mean that the world is lost for that person. There is such a good thing as losing in a very good way, and I think that Neville match is indicative of that. It's a perfect example of losing in a great way, looking fantastic in a loss. If this was on Raw, I bet Neville probably ends up winning that match. If they have a feud, Jericho puts him over. Why? Because Jericho puts everybody over. The point was made, well, why did Jericho put over Finn Balor at a house show recently? Well, because it was a house show, and sometimes he'll win, sometimes he'll lose, depending on where he is. Sometimes it all depends on where you are. And the fact that this was in Tokyo, this was in a place that Jericho made a name for himself, think of it as a farewell tour, a gift for Jericho. What's wrong with that? Nothing is wrong with that. It affects Neville in no way, shape, or form. And I don't think beating Jericho there would have really helped the Neville brand either. Jericho isn't a full-timer. Jericho looked terrible, by the way, physically. He had a big old gut on him. Other than that, he looked pretty good. But, you could tell he was definitely out of shape. He had a bunch of brewskis in that beer, I would say. Brewskis in that belly, not beer. It was awesome. It was awesome. So, why do I have to name a Jericho title in Japan? I don't have to name anything that he's revered in Japan. It's something that's common friggin' knowledge, Ian. Ian, call in. Call in, because you have been spouting ignorance the entire goddamn day on Twitter, taking up my time with ignorance. Now, if you want to continue to be ignorant in my chat, at least call in so I can tell you how wrong you are. You have this love obsession with Neville. I'm not saying anything bad about Neville. I'm not even saying anything good about Jericho. I'm simply stating that it's completely okay for this situation to have happened. Call in on Skype. Have a conversation, because, my man, it doesn't matter what he is revered in Japan. Did you not see him there? He became the Lion Tamer, the Lion Heart Chris Jericho in Japan. It's where he started. It was a dojo there, man. He wrestled all over the freaking world, Mexico, everywhere else. Jesus Lord Almighty. Name a title in Japan. Who cares about if he had a title or not? People love him in Japan. Did you not hear the people? Did you not hear the crowd? They loved him. It was a farewell to Jericho. It's his last time he'll probably ever compete in Japan. What's the big deal that he got a win over Neville? Your argument makes no sense. Oi, driving me nuts. All day. All day. And this really isn't Ian's fault. This is because I've been dealing with assholes on Facebook. Nothing to do with wrestling, of course. Sales related. So Dave is having emotional problems dealing with stupid people in Facebook. And I may have just blew up at Ian Sloan. I apologize for that, but you know what? You're still wrong, and Dave is right. Makes complete sense. There's nothing bad with Neville losing here, or nothing. Nothing. It's not a pay-per-view. It's not a Raw. It's not a SmackDown. It was a glorified house show, and the only reason that we're even talking about it is because it was able to be shown on the network. That's it. It was able to be shown on the network. If the network didn't exist, it wouldn't even matter. If the network didn't exist, we would never even seen it. We'd only know that Finn Balor won the title in NXT, which, by the way, there's precedent for that. It's happened before. We've had major titles, bigger titles than the NXT title, by the way, change hand, untelevised, at house shows. And we get note of it, and then they move the fuck on. That's what happens. And that's what would have happened had this not have been televised. If the network didn't exist, we would have never have saw it. Neville looked great in defeat. If it was a feud on television and Jericho was a full-time wrestler again, then he would have went over. Him losing to Jericho does not matter. This is a stupid issue. Doesn't matter. I'm tired. And it's not just Sloan. There's a few other people. Just Jesus. Not a big deal. Thank you, AJ Tucker. AJ Tucker in the chat. Finally, the kid of reason. Thank goodness Y2J finally got a win. Jesus Christ. Somebody, you know what? That's the one point I forgot to make. Jericho loses to everybody. His win-loss record is shit. He needed a win. Give the guy a win. Jesus. Thank you. Diesel won the title of the house show. Yes, in like 8 seconds against Bob Backlund. Yes. That was what I was referencing, Commander Credit. Very good. But what I want to do is I do want to talk about this for a second, because there is this misconception that losing a match is a burial. It's not. Losing a match is not a burial. Brock Lesnar didn't get buried by the Authority last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever, when he got beat down. That wasn't a burial. It was a beat down to kind of further a storyline. Now, whether or not it was effective, that's a completely different situation. But all of that notwithstanding, let's get into the really, really big part of that night, and that is Finn Balor beating Kevin Owens in another fantastic match out of Kevin Owens. I think God, it's hot in Germany today. Jesus. Kevin Owens, I have one question for Kevin Owens. How many match of the year candidates is he going to be in? This year, it's like every match he's having is match of the year candidate. And I do feel that he is moving forward. I think he's taking the title off of Cena at Battleground. If not there, then definitely at SummerSlam. But I really don't think there needs to be a fourth match in this series. So I see him taking the win at Battleground and taking that belt. And I don't know if we're going to have a fourth in it at all. If you do you really want to have Kevin Owens beat John Cena 3 times in a row? Also, one final note on John Cena closing out the show. I also feel that there is a good possibility that John Cena closing out that show had a lot to do with Vince saying, okay, all these kids are great. I know it's a huge title match. I know that Finn Balor's returning. John Cena's still the guy, okay? And if you go back and watch the show, another thing about it is John Cena got the biggest pop of the entire night. When he came out, that was a bigger pop than Finn Balor. It was a bigger pop than anything, except when Finn won the title. I think that was the biggest overall explosion. When Finn won that title, it was awesome. But let's get back to Finn. That's the important thing. Let's talk about Finn and what it means for his not only current future, but the current situation, but also his future. I think it's really important that we know just how big of a star I think the Finn Balor is going to be. And he's carrying NXT now. He's the man. And who he feuds with is going to be really important. Obviously, I think Kevin Owens is done. We might see one more match with Kevin Owens, but I wouldn't be surprised if that is completely over as well. Chris Warren, you are live with Dead on Dave. What's going on?
Do I sound like shit this time?
No, you sound great.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that last time. I realized I wasn't connected to Wi-Fi.
Don't worry about it. No big deal. It's not a big deal. What you got for me, bud?
I just want to say that Neville, like the Neville Jericho match, it was great.
It was great.
Neville looked in defeat.
Yeah.
And Jericho needed a fucking win because his matches were getting way too predictable.
Yes. The guy loses all the time. He puts over everybody. He loses all the time. He needed a win, and it's not even like this win really matters. It was a house show. This was a glorified house show. It was the only reason why it was on was because it was on the network. Thank goodness for the network, because if it wasn't, we wouldn't have got to see that amazing show. I thought we got 3 great matches in that show. Well, 2 great matches and 1 great spectacle. The Lesnar thing was not a great match, but it was a fantastic segment. Him shaking off those Kofi leg drops, I thought was great. I had a blast with that.
Yeah, Kofi made Lesnar look really, really strong.
Well, I mean, no, Lesnar made Lesnar look really, really strong.
No matter what, Lesnar's really, really strong. Let's just.
It was great. I really enjoyed it. I also noticed that Lesnar looks about as close as he did when he first came in than ever before. Like, he looked huge last night.
Yeah. Yeah, I realized that too.
I mean, I think there was a possibility that he looked really slim at Royal Rumble and even WrestleMania. I think there was a possibility of why that was, is because I do think he was thinking about going back to UFC, whether it be a ploy or not. I think he trimmed down just in case he was going to go back into heavy training, which is their story, by the way. So I tend to believe that. And now that he is fully committed for the next, 3 years or whatever it is, to WWE, he is getting back into just straight up beast mode, and he looks fantastic.
Yep. And about the Jericho Neville match.
Yeah.
I love how Saxton kept bringing up how he was known as a Lionheart in Japan, and how they called the Walls of Jericho the Lion Tamer. I for some reason I get how he used the Lion Tamer. I just didn't like the finish, how he made Neville tap out.
I didn't mind the finish. I thought it was kind of cool that he did the Walls of Jericho early in the match, didn't get the job done. He had to go to the Lion Tamer, the other variation, the much nastier version where anybody would tap out to, because it is a disgusting looking Boston Crab. I felt the fact that he busted that out against Neville was a sign of respect to Neville, and I thought that was kind of cool. Also, you brought up Byron Saxton. I want to bring up Saxton and Michael Cole, who I feel did an amazing job calling that match. And I just found out they weren't even there. They were calling it from Stamford, so they didn't even have the crowd to feed off of. That was just 2 guys sitting in a room watching it on a screen and commenting, and I thought they did a great job.
Yeah, they did. I thought they did a great job. Byron Saxton really stepped up.
He sounds so much like Taz for me, though. You know, that's my one complaint with Byron is he sounds so much like Taz. It kind of drives me nuts.
Yeah, but it was still a great match. I love how Jericho can use the code breaker like out of nowhere, like
The
how Randy
super
Orton
code
can-
breaker. Well, yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, and what was I gonna say? The Divas match was it was okay.
Unfortunate. I think that's the best word to describe it. It was unfortunate. I thought the work between Nikki and Paige was really, really good. It was really solid. But Tamina, everything she does is ugly, man. Everything that Tamina does is bad. I mean, she walks bad. She falls bad. She just like, I can't believe she's been around for so long and she's still so green, so stiff, so unathletic. It's crazy to me. But I think the Paige Nikki stuff was pretty solid. I didn't mind their work. It was just one of those weird situations. Naomi wasn't able to compete. I think it would have been a better match had she been able to. So it was quite interesting. But yeah, I was not a fan of that match.
Yeah. Apparently, I heard Naomi had a loss in the family. That's why she wasn't.
Yeah, that's what she tweeted out. She said she had a loss in the family, but she didn't get into specifics as to what that was. So we'll see what. Obviously, I'm pretty sure it was on her side because had it been on the Uso side, then Tamina would have been included because she's an Uso. You know, she's part of that family. So obviously, this was something that probably happened on Naomi's side, and I hope everything's okay. You know.
And Finn Balor Kevin Owens match, that was amazing.
Jeez, man.
I love the customs that they did. Like they gave Balor and Owens the flowers, and Owens just throws him out of the ring.
Yeah, I did enjoy that. I enjoyed all the disrespect that he showed to Japan. I enjoyed all of that. I thought it was great. Do I know? Okay, do I know what the attendance was? No, not off the top of my head. I don't, and I don't care. Do I give a shit what the attendance was off the top of my head? I'm sure I heard it. I'm sure I knew it. I don't give a shit. It looked like it was about 7,000, I'd say. Who the fuck cares? Oh, I don't have all the facts in front of me. You're able to Google. Congratulations. Why are you here if you want to try and fucking be a dick in my chat? Who gives a shit? It's crazy. He's just going on a rant. Jericho doesn't need to win. He's not an active superstar. So the fuck what? He's doing televised stuff. When he comes back, isn't it nice to have a win every now and then? And it's not like the win matters because it was not on TV, or it was booked like it was a friggin' house show. It was on TV because it was the network, but it wasn't a pay-per-view. It wasn't anything like that. Get over it. Neville lost. Shut up, Ian. Jesus, I'm not referencing you again. Congratulations, Ian. You are off my grid. Boom, off the grid. That's the first person I put off my grid.
Oh.
Yeah. You got anything else, Chris?
Two things. I'll say them really quick.
You're good. You're not off my grid.
Right when the ref was handing Finn Balor the title, someone threw a stream at the ref right in the fucking face.
Yeah, I saw that. That was that was great.
And I think
you're sounding
Kevin
like
Owens
shit again, Chris. You're sounding like crap again. You're buzzing. You're doing something weird.
Oh shit! Really?
Hurry up! Get your last thing in. What you got?
I think Cena's gonna drop the title to Owens at SummerSlam.
I agree. No, I don't think it's SummerSlam. I think he's gonna drop it. Unless this is gonna be some kind of disqualification, which they're not building it like it would be a disqualification or anything like that. So I see him losing at Battleground.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting nonetheless, though. It's going to be another match.
Oh, it's going to be a great match. I'm excited about it. This might actually be a throwaway. I'm thinking there's a part of me thinks that this could be a throwaway match because I got a feeling that Battleground might be a throwaway pay-per-view. Other than Brock winning, and I do believe Brock is going to beat Seth Rollins, I think it might be a throwaway pay-per-view. I'm not sure. So,
isn't it a network special now instead of just a pay-per-view? They're just considering it a network special.
Oh yeah, I think it is just a network special. Yeah, I'm not sure. It might be. I can't remember if I saw it was just a network special or a pay-per-view. But either way. Anything else?
Nope. Thank you for taking my call, dude.
Hey, no problem, man. You're on the grid. You're good. Ian Sloan off the grid.
All right, see you, man.
Have a good night, Chris. Keep watching, and if you want to call back, you feel free, bud.
All right, thank you.
Chris Warren, everybody. Chris Warren. AJ Tucker, educating the masses one day at a time. The phenomenal 12-year-old, the monster of mayhem, Mr. AJ Tucker, joining me now. You are live with Dead on Dave. What you got for me, bud?
Thank you for the intro.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Appreciate it.
I like you.
Thank you. I like you too.
Aw, that's nice.
So you were just talking about divas earlier. So, what do you think Charlotte is gonna come to WWE or not? Well, do you think she's gonna come to Raw tomorrow in Chicago?
I think it's a possibility. But right now, I feel, to me, it looks like they're not going to bring anybody into this situation until Nikki gets that 300 days, until she surpasses AJ. Once she surpasses AJ, then all bets are off. You know what I mean? Then everybody can come up. I think they really are waiting for that. And it kind of makes sense because of all the booking that they've had previously has just kind of led to this, and all the weird moments they could have brought somebody up and they didn't. So it kind of makes a lot of sense, and I'm kind of cool with it that they want to get that 290 days, whatever AJ had. They want her off the books as the longest reigning Divas champion. They want it to be Nikki Bella. I don't know if I agree with that. I think it's kind of petty, but hey, it's their company. If that's what they want to do, nothing wrong with that at all. So once that happens, I think it's very important to count down to 300. Once we get to that, then who knows? But Charlotte could, on the other hand, Sasha and Charlotte could very well show up tonight. It'd be a little bit of surprise, though, because Sasha, and I believe Charlotte's going to be her partner in this NXT angle with Emma and Dana Brooke. So it would be a little bit of a shocker if she shows up.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I have with her getting the 300 is who is she going to feud with till she gets there? I mean, is she just going to feud with Paige for the next 4 months or something?
It looks like it. I don't even. She's over. What is she over? She's got to be around 220, 230
220?
days.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Somewhere around.
So, I mean, we're talking 2.5 months. Yeah, 2.5 months we're talking about. She could. I think that they could also do something with Naomi. I think Naomi can continue to be in it because Naomi is not taking sides yet. So I think it would be really smart to focus on the growing Bella brand and stable, whatever you want to call it. That's a really good way to continue putting the focus and emphasis on Nikki without having her to work high-profile feuds because her cronies can continue to cost people. Natalya needs something to do desperately. With Tyson being out, I don't know if she wants to work with Tyson being out and more than likely his career being over, at least for the foreseeable future. She needs something to do. So she could get back into it. But she was not at that meeting, when Paige was trying to rally the troops. So she could be a return. That would be kind of cool to see.
Mm-hmm. That'd be awesome because I love Natalya.
So do I. I think she's great. And she looks really good as of late, too. I like her new attitude that she was having with the champs there, You got anything else for me, buddy?
Oh, I just want to ask you one more thing about the Brooklyn tour. Or not the Brooklyn tour, the
Brooklyn takeover,
Takeover, yeah. Who do you think's gonna, who do you think, oh my gosh. Who do you think Balor's gonna face at the Brooklyn takeover?
Ooh, that's a really, really tough one. They could go, NXT's thing right now has been the tournaments. So it wouldn't surprise me if they have a new tournament because they really don't have any clear-cut number one contender. They could go with Rhino. They already have that feud built in with Finn Balor because they've been feuding the last few weeks. So they could go with Rhino. I don't think that would be a good enough seller. So my guess is probably Samoa Joe. That's who my guess would be. If you put a gun to my head right now, it would be Samoa Joe.
Or even if because I saw this in the chat earlier, and it would be pretty cool. Maybe a possible Yuha Nation.
I thought about that, but he hasn't even debuted yet. So
yeah, I guess it would be kind of too soon.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, Kevin Owens got a very quick title match.
Oh yeah, in
So-
in 2 months.
So, I mean, Yuha could too. He definitely has the pedigree for it. So it wouldn't surprise me if he did. But he hasn't even been debuted yet. I don't think he's even on the horizon. But he would be a good guy to bring in for that Brooklyn show. I mean, that's going to be huge. It's at the Barclays Center. It's at the exact same venue SummerSlam is going to be at the night before. They're going to sell that out, for NXT. I think it's a really bold thing that they're doing. They didn't have to go that big. They're kind of going do or die here with NXT. They're putting them on the forefront. I think it's a hell of a move.
Mhm. And hopefully, Crow will be there. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Crow, but they like you said, they don't really have any clear-cut number one contenders, and with Owens being out, I think Crow would be really nice for that Brooklyn show.
Crow would be good. I think Tyler Breeze, who's been winning a lot, he's another guy who could be in it, and him and Finn Balor work really
I
well
forgot about
together.
him.
Samoa Joe, they got to do something with Samoa Joe. So that's why I'm thinking Samoa Joe. Rhino's still around; he's still there. So I mean, that's a possibility too. But they got a lot of options. I think that's a pretty good thing right now.
Yeah. Or isn't Bull that before I leave? Isn't Bull Dempsey from Brooklyn?
He is, but they're playing the fat. For some reason, they're just fat shaming the hell out of this guy now, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I think he was one of the last guys that was. This is just me guessing. It's clear speculation, nothing else. But he looks like Hugh Morris. He looks like Bill DeMott. He looks like a guy that Bill DeMott would have recruited and brought in.
I could
So
see him.
it wouldn't surprise me if this all came out that this was a Bill DeMott guy, maybe the last Bill DeMott guy, and they're just kind of sticking it to Bill DeMott. It wouldn't surprise me. Look, it's stuff that WWE and not just WWE wrestling has done before. It would not shock me. But it's okay. Bull sucks anyway. So
Yeah.
anything else, AJ?
No, I'm probably just. Well, no, I'm not gonna leave for the rest of the day, but
Well, hey, keep on watching. If you got anything else, feel free to call back in, my friend.
All right, I'm gonna work on my language because I've been stuttering for the past 2 minutes.
It's okay. It happens to all of us. Puberty's a bitch. Take it easy, buddy.
See you later.
AJ Tucker, everybody. AJ Tucker. Pittsburgh boy 96, my good friend. Thank you for being patient. What you got? You are live with Dead on Dave.
One thing I just want to say right off the bat,
Yother.
Jericho versus Neville was fucking awesome.
It was.
The only thing about that show was now I can't get up before 1 o'clock. I have to get so much sleep now.
Yeah, well, you know what's funny? This is just, it's humorous to me. I live in Germany. Everybody knows that. If you've been here a while, you know I live in Germany. It's 7:30 at night for me right now. I was on Monetize This the night before with Cronin, or the hours before, and Cronin and Jesse and even Chris, everyone's complaining about, oh, I've got to get up to watch the show, and then I got to do the review. I do it every week. I do this every single week. I watch Raw 2 in the morning. I watch it from 2 to 5, and then I do the show from 5 to 7:30 in the morning my time. And I'm up all night. I do it every week, and these motherfuckers were complaining. I was like, are you kidding me right now? I kill myself to be on your guys' shows, man. So I finally got a show that was right in the middle of the day for me. It was 11:30 when the show started for me, when the Tokyo show started. I was so thrilled because I was actually fully awake. It was awesome.
And then how you and AJ were talking about the Divas title reign.
Yeah.
Being the AJ fan that I am, I hope they don't go through with it. But
Oh, they totally are.
yeah.
Nothing else makes sense. I mean, having Nikki have the belt this long doesn't make sense unless it's for that reason. And let's face it, we know WWE is spiteful enough to do it. And believe me, if it's not Seth Rollins, it'll be the next major champion that they have that's going to break CM Punk's streak. I'm surprised they didn't let Brock Lesnar do it because he already had so much time as champ. But it made more sense to go with Seth Rollins, I felt. So that's why they went with him. If they keep him there, I could see him shooting past CM Punk streak because they're spiteful, they're small, and it's not just WWE, it's not just Vince. That's how that industry is. They get jilted, they get upset, and they do shit like that. It's nothing new. It's sad, but it's nothing new.
And also, if that Tokyo show that was better than any Raw I've seen within the past few weeks.
Yeah, Raw's been weird. Like I hesitate, especially this last Raw, because there was not one but two phenomenal matches on Raw. I mean, we keep getting lost in the opening and for some people the beginning of that Raw, and not.
They need to go back to 2 hours.
No, well, they could. I don't know if it's going to help that much. 2 hours will probably help, but for sponsorship reasons, and they make a lot of money going at 3. That's all. That's another hour full of commercials and everything. They don't want to give up that revenue. That's why it's 3 hours. It's not 3 hours just because they want to give us an extra hour of wrestling. We don't factor into that decision, nor do we factor into a lot of decisions that they make. It's a financial thing. USA is like, hey, you want 3 hours? Get all kinds of money for doing it. And they're like, shit, yeah, we'll take 3 hours. Yeah, so that's what they do. But I thought Raw was really good this week, mostly. Like we got two great matches. I thought but you're right though. The Tokyo show was better, and not by a small margin. I mean, hell, that Finn Balor match on its own was better than Raw because that was great.
So now hopefully Kevin Owens beats Cena at Battleground for the title.
We're going to have a really pissy Kevin Owens tomorrow night on Raw. I have a feeling he's going to have some interesting things to say. It's going to be his first taste of a Chicago crowd in WWE. That's going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be quite amazing to see what they decide to do.
That's one thing I want to ask you. What do you expect out of tomorrow's Raw? Like, what do you...
Brock Lesnar going insane. I think that's one of the biggest things that I'm looking forward to is Brock Lesnar's reckoning. He is going to destroy some people. Now, I say this every time that Brock's going to be on a show, but because of what happened to him on the last Raw, when he got, or whenever that was, where he got beat up like that, yeah. I'm looking for Brock to lose his goddamn mind. And it's going to be awesome. Oh, by the way, I want to go back to something real quick. I do think that it's a possibility that we're not done seeing Kevin Owens in NXT. Because the Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens thing, some people look at that as it's open-ended because they didn't really get to finish their fight. Now, that could be because they haven't finished their fight in NXT, or Samoa Joe is going to be following him up to WWE. It's a very good possibility. We get Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens for the United States Championship at SummerSlam, and Cena moves on to something else. It's a very good possibility. But it's also a good possibility that Cena keeps the title because they seem to really enjoy having him as United States Champion. Possibilities are endless. You got anything else for me, my friend?
Also, I read somewhere that Sasha Banks, before she comes up to the main roster, she wants to have a championship match with Bayley.
Yeah,
do you think they'll do it?
Yeah, she put that out herself, I believe. She said that's something that she wants to do before she comes up. They could. I don't think she's done yet down there, and I think it was for the reasons that I stated earlier with Nikki Bella and her chase to 300. There's really no point to bring up any other divas at this point. Just to have them lose doesn't make any sense to me. So,
yeah, but I don't want to see Nikki versus Paige for the next 2.5 months. I want to.
Nor do I. Nor do I. But I mean, I don't want to see Sasha in her first big feud coming because, I don't want to see Sasha come up and take on Alicia Fox. I don't want to see her take on Rosa. When I see Charlotte and Sasha, I want to see them take on the best. I want to see them go right into a big title hunt, especially Charlotte. As much as I love Sasha, and I do, I think overall her package is better. But physically in the ring, Charlotte is ridiculous. She is Brock Lesnar to these other women. I mean, she is killing people. There is nobody who has her athleticism in the women's division right now. Maybe Naomi, but she's nowhere near as strong as Charlotte is.
I also can't stand Naomi.
Yeah, I can't stand her. She's a botch machine. People can say, she's different. And different isn't always good, folks. It's because you're different. Not always good.
Surprised. I was also surprised that that Japan show didn't have people like Roman Reigns or Bray Wyatt or
They were all doing
like
other
Seth.
things. Remember, WWE was doing multiple house shows that night, so they were doing other tours. So it's not a big shock to me that they didn't want to over inundate the show either. I think if they had too many of the big stars there, the other stars, I should say, it would have felt more like a Raw or a SmackDown. But a 6-card match or a 6-card night with 2 being a dark show. None of them really having anything to do with any storyline or anything of real importance other than the 2 title matches. That's about par for the course for a house show, which I'm still going to keep on saying. This was a glorified house show. And I'm not degrading it for that. I'm just simply stating what it was. The only reason why we saw it is because it was on the network. Because we have the network. It's the only reason. You got anything else?
That's all I got for right now. Like I said, I'm just still waking up from. Now I can't go to sleep till like freaking 4 in the morning, and then I got. Well, sometimes it's past that. It's like until
Masturbate.
5.
Masturbate a lot, and you'll find yourself some sleep. I guarantee it. Like, just don't do it once. You go once, and then you take a drink of milk, or not milk, because that resembles cum too much. Maybe I'm a freak about that. Like, I'm like, I can't drink milk after masturbating for at least an hour because I'm like, it looks too much like my semen, so I don't drink milk. Drink something to rehydrate, and then 5 minutes later, go at it again, and then you'll fall asleep eventually. Masturbate until you fall asleep. It's okay. That's what I think you should do. I'm here to help you. This is knowledge for life, man. This is information for life. This is good stuff.
Jeez.
Well, have a good day. And I appreciate the call. Feel free to call back in anytime. If you have anything else, I'm waiting for other people to call. I got some other things to talk about. So feel free to call back in, my friend.
All right.
Happy masturbation. Peace. Pittsburgh Boy 96, everybody. I hope that he's able to find some sleep. I think that masturbation to help sleep is a great idea. That's just me. I'm just saying. By the way, I want to talk about the budding friendship in the chat between AJ Tucker and Tony Barrasso. They're becoming great friends. Tony is an admirer of AJ, but Tony doesn't call in anymore. He needs to call in and show everybody how the original kid of the Joe Cronin community really, really does it. Because Tony's he's a G. He's a G. The G stands for geek, by the way, not gangsta. There's no gangsta here. I'm an original G2. The G stands for geek. It's okay, though. Let's see. Let's look in the chat here for a few things. I would like to see Cesaro versus Stone Cold at next WrestleMania. How do you feel about that? Dark J, I can't read because it's too far away. Iwidi. No. No. That's all I got. No, I can't. It would not be a good match. There's no good build. I'm being trolled right now, and I don't care. So it's all right. That's got it. That's a troll. I fell for it. Oh, I took the bait on the troll question. Who'd want to see Cesaro and a 50-year-old Stone Cold? I'd want to see that. That'll put some butts in the seats. That didn't sound like Shivani at all, but that's okay. That is okay. So, getting back to the show just a little bit, I want to talk about a few other things that I thought about the Tokyo show. A couple of my other thoughts. And remember, you can call in on Skype at David Vancura, DavidVancura. Add me first. You can go ahead and call in anytime you like. There's a few other things I want to talk about on this Tokyo show. One, the production of it. Now, remember, this was not a full-fledged production that you would normally see. We didn't see a lot of the camera angles that we would see at a normal show, and I thought that was really good. I enjoyed the scaled-back feel of it. I enjoyed the commentary, the two-man team. I really did dig it. I thought it was well done. I thought it really did a good job of keeping the focus on where it needed to be, and that was the action. And there wasn't a lot of stupid idle stuff between the announcers. And I'm not pointing a finger at JBL here, but I kind of am. And I do. Oh, okay. It wasn't a troll question. I apologize for saying it was a troll question. I apologize for that. It was not a troll question. I apologize. Just a really interesting question. Look, if all the questions that could have been asked to me this night, that was not one I was expecting. You threw me for a loop, Dark J. You threw me for a loop. Congratulations. You put Dead on Dave on his heels, and I didn't know what to do with it. So, let's see here. I'm not saying that the commentating problems fall directly on JBL. Usually it really is the horribleness of Michael Cole. But, I got to say that it was refreshing to see these two guys work really well together. And it was awesome. They called it a great show. It wasn't contrived. They didn't try to do too much. And that was kind of the feel of the entire production. And that was awesome. I had a lot of fun with it. I enjoyed the show. I didn't miss the pyro. I didn't miss the multiple angles. I really enjoyed the recap after every match. The way they did the recap, it felt very old schoolish to me. Gotta take a drink here. I need some water. I'm really hot. I turned off my fan and I'm dying here. This show is brought to you by Vittel Water. German Vittel. Vittel. I have no idea. But anyway, yeah, JBL. I'm sorry. Yeah, JBL is not always the problem. It's okay. Let's see here. Let's go back into the chat. I am just tired of hearing Cole. They need a new announcer altogether. I agree. They need to. That was from Pittsburgh Boy 96. They do need to bring in some new people. I really do feel like Renee Young can bring a hell of a lot to the announced team. I think it would be great to see, great to hear. It'd be a lot of fun. That's just me. Isaac A asks, will Jeff Hardy ever return? To what? Reality? He hurt himself on a bike. His leg is all messed up. He's probably never going to be the same again. I don't know if he was ever coming back to the WWE anyway. I mean, maybe one day, but I don't know. He's getting up there. How old is Jeff Hardy? That's a really good question. Where is my damn keyboard? Let's get on the old Google box and find out how old Jeff Hardy is, because he's no spring chicken anymore, and he jacked his leg up in a damn motorcycle accidente. Yeah, he's 37. He's 37, so I don't really see him coming back to WWE. I don't see what would be the point, I don't know. AJ Tucker notes Renee Young was really good. She was really cool in NXT. I thought she was great when she was working with Corey Graves and such on NXT. I thought it was really well done. I think she can be a great announcer. And that's why one of the reasons why they gave her own show on the network, Unfiltered, is kind of to keep her happy. Keep her in the family, because if they don't, they're going to lose her ass to ESPN. Like Grisham and, Pettingill's doing his thing. Coach is doing his thing. And they're all doing their things over there. And they'll lose her too, because they like them pretty column announcers, analysts. They love them. They need somebody to replace Aaron Andrews and what's her name, the weird redhead who was always on Bret Favre's lawn. Rachel Nichols. I don't think she's still with ESPN. So yeah, I don't know. I forgot completely where I was going with anything. So let's go back into the chat and see what people are saying there. I think that would be a really good idea. Let's see, to get that white. Oh yeah, the other white dude that somebody was bringing up was Tom Phillips, I believe. Tom Phillips. Let's kind of put the cap on the Japan show, and then we'll move on to something else, whether it be sports or something else in wrestling, or if we get a caller, we'll talk whatever they want to talk. But let's put the cap on the Tokyo show. I've had some time to think about it, and I think that I'm going to give it a full-fledged 9. 8.5 was good, but maybe 8.75. I really did enjoy the show. There's something about it. The Japan crowd is so different. It's just it's so amazing. Hearing the clapping it's so cool. I love that. I've always loved that about Japan crowds. You hear the clapping. It's just very, very awesome. You hear the clapping before the cheering. You don't have craziness going on in the audience all the time because they're there for the spectacle. They're there for the sport. They want to be lost in the brutality ballet that is professional wrestling. Let's face it, that's what it is. Yeah, it's pretty damn cool. But to put the capper on it, Finn Balor has arrived. I think that's the most important thing. He has arrived. We now know who the man is going to be, and who the next Kevin Owens is going to be. This is the guy who dethrones Kevin Owens. So when he comes up to WWE, if he does, by the way, because he could carry the NXT banner for quite a long time on his own. When he does come up, he's going to be in that similar vein as an untouchable guy who is just going to be really hard to deal with for anybody who has to take him on. AJ Tucker, you're back live with Dead on Dave. What you got for me, bud?
I just want to ask two things that I read online
Yes,
a while ago. I read that not CM Punk. Cody Rhodes or Stardust could be returning tomorrow night.
Yes, I read the same thing. It looks like they will be making their return to his return. Not there. They're not two people. His return to TV. That'll be interesting.
And what else did I read? The 2K16 cover that's going to be revealed tomorrow.
Oh wow. I did not know that.
I read that.
Nice. I did see that the 2K roster for this year is going to be over 100 people. 100 wrestlers, awesome. More than double of this year's roster. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. So, tomorrow should be, if, what I've been reading online is any indication, this should be a pretty good Raw. Lesnar's going to be there. Owens is going to be there. I'm going to be there, so it should be exciting.
You're going?
Yeah, I'm going to Raw tomorrow.
You got to take as much video as you possibly can of all kinds of things and send it to me, man. I'll play it on the show, dude. You got to be my correspondent.
Hopefully, I'll be there for Superstars, and Samoa Joe will be there, and he'll break someone else's neck. If you
had a copious shirt, I'd tell you to wear that.
I have a Yes shirt.
Well, that's not a copious shirt.
Well, I could just edit it, and I could put your face on it.
Just put a fat face on it instead? That might work. You got anything else for me, AJ?
No, I just wanted to tell you those two things.
All right, appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Because, the show drowns without the callers. Take it easy, bud. Pittsburgh Boy 96, you're back on Live with Dead on Dave. What you got?
I'll say that copious shirt I got of yours,
yeah,
got many compliments on it. So
really,
yeah.
And by the way, if you don't know what we're talking about, you can go over to Spreadshirt.com, and I do not push this enough, which I'm going to start doing. I'm probably going to start getting donations from you guys too, because Dead on Dave is broke, and I put a lot of time into this friggin' show. I need my tip jar. There's nothing wrong with it. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Germany has weird laws on all that stuff, so who knows. But yeah, Spreadshirt.com. This is one way you can support the show, and you do get something for it. You get a product. You go over to Spreadshirt.com, and all my designs there were made by the great Isaac Rojas, who no longer comes around. But he still made all those shirts, all those designs. The Copious shirt, which is just my face, and it's awesome. The Copious cup you can drink from my face, all on Spreadshirt.com. Dead on Dave. Might be Dead on Dave Productions /Spreadshirt.com. I'm not sure. Just type in Dead on Dave Productions over on Spreadshirt. You'll get to all my merchandise. Make sure you buy a shirt. Hey, why not? Yeah, it's my face. Hey. There's also some really cool ones too. He did like a Bullet Club version of the Copious Club. It's kind of cool. All right, what you got for me, Pittsburgh boy?
How we were talking about announced teams earlier.
Yeah.
Do you think that if by some chance Daniel Bryan is done, competing, do you think he could do announced team? Do you think he'd be good at that?
Prior to his work on Tough Enough, I would have said absolutely not. But from what I've seen from him on Tough Enough, maybe. I really didn't think he would be built for it, but I'm starting to be converted on the fact that Daniel Bryan might be able to talk a little bit. He just doesn't do it with a lot of personality or inflection. But he knows his stuff. It would be an interesting role. I don't know if Daniel Bryan's going to accept it. And I see him being another Kurt Angle. People forget the real reason why Kurt ended up leaving WWE. It's not because they couldn't come to terms on a contract or anything like that. WWE let him go because he was physically unable to pass any doctor's exams. TNA just didn't give a shit. They're like, oh, if Kurt says he's good, he's good. You know, people get on WWE all the fucking time for the fact that they don't protect their wrestlers. Yet that's exactly what they did with Kurt Angle. Kurt was so messed up physically and emotionally in all kinds of ways that they did not want to have him on no more. So they got rid of him. And they get shit for it. But, you know, TNA puts him on, and he has all these breakdowns. He has DUIs. He gets hurt constantly. And nobody points the finger at TNA for having him there in the first place. And it pisses me the hell off. But my point is, I think Daniel Bryan's going to be the same type of guy where WWE is going to continue to say, you know what, man, we're not letting you back into the ring unless all the doctors are 100% behind it. I think he'll get pissed off and eventually leave. And when he does, he'll go to somewhere else and get fucking crippled. And then one day he'll be suing the WWE and suing the wrestling industry. I hope that doesn't happen.
I loved me some Kurt Angle back when he was in WWE. Him and the Brock Lesnar feud they had a while back.
Yeah, it was.
God, that was awesome.
By the way, if anybody's hearing a faint noise in the background, I had to turn back on my fan. I'm dying a sweaty death here in Germany, and if I did not turn on my fan, I was going to die. I looked at my clock and realized I still have another hour to go. I needed my fan on. So don't crucify me. Well, you probably can't even hear it anyway, but if you do, sorry, my fatness needs the fan. What else you got for me, Pittsburgh boy? I'm all over the place.
Also, how I was talking about how bad Raw have been as of late. I have to say that Cena Cesaro match, the best match on Raw so far this year, in my opinion.
It was definitely up there. But I thought that 8-man tag they had directly after it was almost as good. I thought it was really, really solid. I loved both of those matches on that Raw. That's why I have such a hard time really saying that Raw was terrible, because we got two fantastic matches. Not good matches, fantastic. So
that's another thing. Who do you think will set the open challenge tomorrow night?
Oh God. Who will accept the open challenge tomorrow for John Cena? I have no idea, man. I really don't. I'm still wondering where Samoa Joe kind of plays in everything. So I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if a guy like that and showed up. And Kevin, I believe when John does do his open challenge, Kevin Owens is going to come out and do something, and maybe even prevent him from doing it altogether. I have no idea. Never.
And then
no idea.
With NXT and Finn Balor, isn't Hideo Itami coming back?
Hideo Itami's not coming back for at least another 3 months, I believe. He's got.
He was coming back in a month or so.
No. He just had the surgery not that long ago. I think he's at least gone for another 2 or 3 months, but who knows? It would be great if he does come back early. I love Hideo, and I would love to see Hideo and Finn, because I'm holding on to what I believe is that Finn is going to be the guy that put Hideo on the shelf. I think if they want to have instant awesomeness, what they do is they have Finn go heel, which would be great. And he turns on Hideo and says, kind of like it was me, Austin, all along, or the you're damn right it was me, the Triple H thing. And Triple H really seems to like Finn Balor. And so I see a lot of things that we've seen out of Triple H in the past storyline-wise. I can see him integrating them in with Finn Balor in the future, just because he takes a shine to certain guys and he uses them in different ways than he does other people. But that's nothing that other people don't do as well.
And the last question I have is, who do you think they'll have win the Intercontinental title between Ryback, Miz, and Big Show?
The thing is, it looks like Mark Henry's involved as well now. I'm
Oh,
not
is
su-
he?
Yeah, at least he was talking like he was. He goes, Ryback bit off more he can chew, picking on two guys like me and Big Show. So I don't know. He might be getting involved. He might not be. I think
I hope
Ryback's.
not.
Yeah, I hope not too. They don't. It's the last thing we need. Even though if you didn't watch SmackDown, Ryback showed an amazing amount of strength and power, and it was awe-inspiring what he did to Mark Henry. Vertical suplex, held vertical suplex on Mark Henry. It was awesome, and then the shell shock was really good. I have a feeling Ryback's going to continue his reign as Intercontinental Champion. They just really need to fix this. They need to get somebody in there with him immediately. Somebody good, somebody really good, because this title reign is becoming bland and pointless, and that's not fair to Ryback, man, because it's not all on him. What can he do with Sergeant Slaughter? What can he do with Big Show? I don't even know why Sergeant Slaughter popped into my head right there. What can he do with Big Show? What can he do with Mark Henry? It's unfair to him in his title reign. So. Yeah. What else you got? You got anything else, or are you out of here?
That's all I got for now. I'll still watch the show though.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Thanks a lot, man. Talk to you later.
All right.
Pittsburgh Boy 96. By the way, we're at the hour mark, and that means we are 1 hour away from the most badass hockey podcast in all the known land. That is, of course, Shot from the Point with my good buddy, Tommy C. So make sure you check out Tommy C live on Shot from the Point. Shot from the Point live at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to cover all the crazy shit that went on in hockey this week. Trades, free agency signings, opt-outs, all kinds of crazy stuff. Make sure you go check him out because he's going to cover it all, and it's going to be epic. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and transition into some other stuff. But first, I think it would be a good idea. It would be prudent of me to look in the chat and see what's going on there. I don't know. Yeah, you know what? AJ Tucker says, bring Ziggler into the Intercontinental title picture. Why not? Why not? I hate this whole stupid thing with Rusev, man. They need to stop that whole damn thing. I got to remember, I got to keep myself looking sharp here and not fiddling around with stuff, because I am on camera again, which is crazy, doing live stuff. Ian Sloan, Dave, did you see the Ron Simmons? Yes, I did see it. I saw Ron Simmons winning the first black. Well, he didn't win the first black WCW World. That's what? I saw. Yes, I did see the tape of Ron Simmons winning the first, becoming the first African American to win the WCW World Title. Yes, I did see that. I have seen it. Yes. I didn't see it live. That's what you mean? I don't know. How do you feel about the Brandon Saad trade? All right, let's get to some hockey. Thank you, Isaac A, for a hockey question. Let's do that. How do I feel about the Brandon Saad trade? I was pissed off about it at first, but I understand what it was. It was what's a tape? Kumar Jenkins. What's a tape? Yeah, I know, right? Brandon Saad. This is not on Brandon Saad. It's not even on the Blackhawks. This is what happened. Brandon Saad said to his agent, what should I do? And his agent said, don't worry, kid. I'll take it from here. I'll get you the deal you want, and I'll keep you. This is all Tommy C's reckoning, by the way, reasoning. I'll get you what you want. I'll get you on the team that you want. You want to stay with the Hawks? I got you. But the greedy agent decided that he was going to squeeze the Hawks for everything that they possibly could. Now, the problem is the Hawks were right up against the cap, and they couldn't give Saad too much money. And Saad is a budding star. He's going to be a huge star in this league. So the Hawks had him to go screw. Sorry, bud. We're trading your ass. So they traded him. They got the best deal they probably could at the time. And it turned out the way it did. They got a couple. They got a Misanov. They got a couple other guys, which is going to be fine. It's going to be hard to replace Saad. I don't think that trade, the guys they got back, were designed to replace Saad. I think they're kind of expecting guys like Tavarin, Tavarin, whatever his name is, to replace him. So if that all works out, it should be interesting. I'm also hearing rumors of a pretty damn big trade with Patrick Sharp. So we'll see if that ends up coming to fruition. So that's how I feel about it. I feel nothing about it. It hurts. It hurts the Hawks, but maybe not as much as people were talking about. Yeah, but yes, I was talking about VHS. Yes, I was watching it on VHS. It's tapes. Nothing wrong with tapes. Pittsburgh Boy 96 says, I am not sure what to think about the Pens getting Phil Kessel. I don't think anybody knows what to feel about the Pens getting Kessel. Did they really need to get Phil Kessel? And we're talking about an undisciplined freaking guy here who going over and dealing with a team that has no leadership. How the hell is that going to work? That's going to be quite interesting to see them rip each other to pieces. Good God. Because Sidney's not going to want to put up with his shit. And I don't think he wants to put up with Sidney's shit, to be completely honest, because they all have a bunch of bullshit to drag with them. So, I don't know. I don't know. By the way, go ahead and put in the chat right now, everybody, what you guys thought of the amazing Tokyo show. Because I want to know what you guys thought if you watched it. So give me an out of 10 what you thought of the Tokyo show Beast in the East. Yeah. So, by the way, WWE is doing another great thing for Dusty Rhodes. After Raw, they're doing, I believe it's going to be in the arena in Chicago. They're going to be doing another live tribute to Dusty Rhodes. Ric Flair's being flied in, and I guess some other people as well. So that's going to be pretty damn cool. One final farewell, I believe, to Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. I think that should be very interesting, very well done. And seeing Ric Flair talk very candidly about Dusty is going to be pretty damn cool. So, by the way, I hope everybody had a really nice 4th of July. And it was a lot of fun for you guys. Here's an interesting story I wanted to talk about. Wrestling related. Before I get into any other sports things, I kind of wanted to go back into wrestling for a moment. I read this story about Vince Russo, who, people get into, Russo's place in wrestling and how much he had to do with the Attitude Era. Vince Russo invented the Attitude Era, which is ridiculous because he didn't. He'll lead you to believe that he did, though, boy, let me tell you. But this was the interesting interview, which I'd like to think that Vince is mostly honest when he gives interviews and does his podcast. But maybe this isn't his fault, but he sounds like he's full of shit all the time. Like everything he says sounds like it's complete and utter bullshit. Like he's megalomaniacal. Any power that he does have, anything, he believes in himself so much. He's like, I believe in this. I'm Vince Russo. Reality doesn't seem to bother Vince. Reality doesn't seem to bother him. The fact that he has burned down organization after organization. The only reason why he didn't take WWE down is because Russo had a gigantic filter right in his way at all times, a roadblock, if you will, by the name of McMahon. He didn't have that anywhere else. He didn't have that anywhere else that he went. He had no filter. He had no roadblock. He had nobody telling him no. He had nobody hitting him on the nose with a newspaper saying no. No. And if he did, who knows? Vince is great for just jotting down ideas. And they're extreme. They're crazy. They're nuts. There's some semblance in there, some nugget of a good idea in most of the things that he talks about. You just have to refine it. You got to wipe away the bullshit. Because unfortunately, when Vince Russo writes, it's with shit-stained fingers and it's bullshit all over. So if you you wipe away all the shit smears, there's some good stuff there. Now anyway, so he talked really candidly on the CSRWrestling.com. He talked about Jericho's debut into WWE. And this is what he had to say about that. And I wanted to talk about it and just kind of get it out there. After several conversations, Chris decided that he was going to be in WWE. He was going to be WWE bound once his WWE contract expired. From there, JR took over in the negotiations, because that was never my job, nor did I ever want it to be my job. The television producer went into full, let's immediately get Jericho over mode. I have to give Kevin Dunn and his entire staff an enormous amount of credit for making Jericho special from the moment we saw him. To this very moment, I see it and feel that I still pop for it. What incredible vision Dunn's staff had. A vision that is far and away the standard bearer when it comes to sports entertainment. It goes without saying that Chris was over in WWE from the start. However, many people don't know is that when Ed Ferrara and myself wrote our last WWE show, which was delivered to Vince before we made the decision to go to WCW, we had Jericho defeating The Rock in the middle 1, 2, 3, which Ed and I felt would have almost immediately brought Jericho to a new level without hurting The Rock in doing the job. Unfortunately, once we said our goodbye to Vince, the finish of the match was changed and The Rock beat Jericho. For there, I felt that it took the WWE much longer to get Jericho to that next level compared to if he would have beaten The Rock that night. This is the short-sightedness of Vince Russo right here. This is why he burns shit out. If he would have had Chris Jericho beat The Rock, Jericho, what people tend to forget is how much heat Chris Jericho had coming over from WCW, because he was basically the first big name. He was that first shoe to drop, you know. He was the guy that really started the exodus in a lot of ways. And when he did that, he caught a lot of heat in the back, and it was not easy sailing for Chris Jericho. As big of a star as Jericho would turn out to be, he was not on The Rock's level when he came in 99. Nowhere close to The Rock. And honestly, had he beaten The Rock, if he had defeated The Rock, I really felt it would have hindered his progress more than we could have ever imagined. Because not only would it have brought more immense heat on him from the boys in the back, but it also would have put this unattainable amount of pressure and expectation on Jericho. Jericho would later go on to defeat The Rock for championships. That's the way it should be. You have him beat him in an entrance match? Why, just because he can? That doesn't do anything for Jericho. It puts him in a spot where he can't possibly be successful. So, as much as I enjoy reading and hearing from Vince Russo, I think he needs to stop and take a second and really look at some of the things that he writes and talks about and see where his faults are. Because I don't think he realizes that he's awful. You know, I don't think he realizes that he burns shit to the ground. Because he's unbelievably short-sighted. Unbelievably. Like, there's no long-term vision with Vince Russo. His long-term vision is the product's going to be great. That's Vince Russo's vision. Always. There's never a roadmap on how to get there. There's never a construct. There's never a clear, concise plan. It's like, we're going to do one amazing thing and then we're going to do another amazing thing. Why? Because I do amazing things. What the fuck kind of logic is that? That doesn't make any sense. That's not how reality works. Reminds me of that damn commercial with the old ladies, you know, posting stuff on their wall and calling it the Facebook wall. I'm unfriending you. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. And I feel that's what Vince has never understood. You can't be short-sighted in this business, and that's his downfall. I really do believe that. So it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting, I feel. If you want to get any of your thoughts heard on Dead on Dave Live, go ahead and call right now. Dead on Dave Live on Skype. David Vancura, DAVIDVANCURA. Go ahead and call in. I will take your questions, your qualms, your concerns, your problems, anything you got. Go ahead and hit me up, and we'll do our thing. Let's see here. What else we got? What else can I talk about tonight? I want to get into a little bit of NBA free agency because there's a couple things I want to talk about. And I don't want to stay long on the NBA because I don't really give a shit. But how sad is it right now, the state of the Lakers? I just want to talk about the Lakers for a moment. The Lakers have absolutely whiffed on every major free agent there is. They had Aldridge. When Marcus Aldridge was coming in, they had him in the building, and they botched the first interview with him. They botched the first presentation. Why? Because from all reports, they were giving him the Hollywood sell. They were giving him the glitz, the glamour of Hollywood, kid. You're going to love it here. They weren't giving him the basketball sell. And a guy like LaMarcus Aldridge, who's getting up there in years and has yet to win a title, he wants to win. And I don't think that the Lakers really understand that this guy wants to win. He's 29. His window is closing in the NBA. He's got, 3 more years as a big man? And that's assuming he does not get hurt. He's got 3 more years of elite years on top. And then it's done. It's over. The decline sets in. He's in his prime right now. He wants to win. The last thing he wanted to hear was the glitz, the glamour, kid. Wait until you see Hollywood Boulevard. It's going to blow your socks off. He doesn't care. He knows he's got, a 39, 38-year-old Kobe Bryant who still feels like he is a 29-year-old Kobe Bryant. A guy like Kobe who's just not understanding that he is in full decline. He doesn't shoot at a high percentage anymore. He's injured all the time. He's going to continue to be injured. He's not seeing the fact that his days are coming to an end. Maybe Kobe's not that old. Maybe he's only 36, 37. But that's still friggin' old in basketball. I can't remember how old he was. But the Lakers whiff on him. They whiffed on, what's his friggin' name? Not Aldridge. DeMarcus Cousins. They whiff on him. And now they're resting their hopes on getting Roy Hibbert. Roy Hibbert, that's the deal that's coming down in place. Roy friggin' Hibbert. Something's wrong here. We're talking about a guy, a plotting center, a dude who nobody wants to deal with anymore. The Pacers want nothing to do with him. They're giving him away. He's 28 years old. He's 7'2". He's 290 pounds, but he's a big plotter. He's not an offensive guy. The game is going away from these gigantic guys that can't score in high volume. He's a great defensive presence, and he's going to bring something dominant to the hole on defense. No question about that. But this is a really bad move for the Lakers, considering they need to rebuild now. They're the Lakers. It's sad. It's depressing to me. As a Bulls fan, I want to see the Lakers great. When the Lakers are great, when the Celtics are great, when the Bulls are great, it's great for basketball. When the Blackhawks are great, when Edmonton becomes great again, when teams like I think that even the Kings, but original 6 teams, Detroit, when Detroit's great, it's good for hockey. It's just great teams that people care about. When they're great, it's good for the sport. Rant over. Patrick Glynn, you're live with Dead on Dave. What you got for me, bud?
Oh, how about when the Sixers are great in basketball? Don't forget the Sixers were part of that 5-tier team in the 80s that were good.
The Sixers are too busy trying to cheat people and cheat their fans and throw games and be a disgrace to basketball. I'm sorry. What the 76ers have done over the last couple of years, let's talk about the Sixers. Since you brought them up, how disgusting the Sixers are. How can you trade somebody? And how can you trade a guy? And they've proven this now. This is not me just saying this. They've proven that they were dishonest in their evaluation, in their medical reports, to another team. Ownerships of teams are partners with other owners in this league. And the ownership for the Philadelphia 76ers disgracefully and purposefully tried to cheat another team, and they got a slap on the wrist of a $3 million fine. The Sixers make me sick. The National Basketball Association makes me sick. It all makes me sick to my ass. Really does.
That's just the guy with the last name of Hinkie.
That's right. What you got for me? What you got for me, Patty?
There's a meme out there going on around in Philadelphia it's got Hinkie, Ron Hextall, and Chip Kelly all sitting at a lunch table, and they've got Ruben Amaro walking up. They're saying, "You can't sit with us."
Yeah, I like that. I like that. That's funny. And Chip is not a pariah yet. He might be after this season, but we'll see.
Yeah, the jury's still out on Chip.
He's got 1 year. He's got 1 year. If he doesn't win this year, it's done. He's over. He's through. And he may never get another job in the NFL again. If he does not win this year, he's over. Done.
Oh, yeah. He will be.
We'll see.
But I'm loving everything that the Flyers have done this offseason.
I have not really been up on what the Flyers have done because my give-a-shit meter, what did they do?
They traded, they dumped Chris Pronger's contract.
Yeah, $550,000. I mean, not a huge deal, but yeah.
Well, they traded what's his name? Nick Grossman and Pronger's contract for the Coyotes for Sam Gagner and a few draft picks.
Yeah.
Traded Zach Rinaldo to the Bruins. And they wound up signing Michael Nervoroff, wherever his name, the old goalie from the Sabres, to be the backup to Mason. That does with the I'm still here. And what that does with the getting rid of Pronger's contract, that gives them cap space to go out and re-sign Voracek.
Yeah, it gave him $550,000. They didn't give him a huge friggin' deal. I believe his cap hit was bigger than that, though. So I mean, I don't know. I don't see any of these moves leading them to the playoffs, though. Not this year.
I don't think so either, but I think with the draft picks that they made I'm completely content missing the playoffs for the next couple of years to build a team.
You know what, though? I got to give you a little bit of credit for saying that. Not a lot of fans will say that. I had to say that a couple of years ago with the Cubs. I had to say that very same thing because I want my team to rebuild properly. So you know what? I got a lot of respect for you for saying that because not a lot of fans of any sport will say what you just said.
If it's willing to bite the bullet for 2 years to build a team that's contending for the next 10 to 15 years, I'm willing to do it.
Sure. You got to be patient. You got anything else for me, Mr. Glenn?
I really enjoyed that WWE thing from Japan. However, I do have a little issue with the name of it. Beast in the East? Come on now. Didn't I just do a couple weeks ago Beast from the East?
Well, you would have stole from Bam Bam Bigelow, so it's not a big deal.
Oh, no. Bam Bam Bigelow stole from Dokken.
I don't know. What year was that album?
88.
Then, no, they didn't steal from Dokken. Bam Bam superseded that. They stole from Bam Bam.
They stole from Bam Bam.
They did. Look, I got news for you. Bam Bam Bigelow was walking around Asbury Park calling himself the Beast in the East long before Dokken friggin' cut that album, bud.
Well, the Beast from the East. That's the album name.
Yeah, and Bam Bam Bigelow was known as the Beast from the East.
I know. I'm just
before that album.
I actually missed the beginning of the show, and I heard that Kofi Kingston got completely destroyed. But
it was great.
I was able to catch the Finn Balor Kevin Owens match.
It was awesome. All of it was awesome. I was happy with all of it.
All right, brother. I will talk to you later, sir.
Hey, make sure you guys go check out Patrick Glenn over on his channel. He does a great show every now and then called Rockin' with Dokken. And I know
Tommy goes off the air today.
So. Oh, awesome. So make sure you go check him out. He's a good guy.
I'm covering George Lynch's first solo album, Wicked Sensation.
Oh, sweet. Horrible production, but it's great content.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Hey, I keep keeping people informed.
Keep on rocking, buddy.
You too, buddy. Talk to you later. Chris Warren, he's back with us. What you got for me? You're live with Dead on Dave.
Hey, Dave, how are you?
Pretty good,
I just wanted to build on Patrick Glenn was saying because we both happen to be Philly fans.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He brought up a really great point. Philly, all teams, like, we're probably at, like, an all-time low right now for Philly sports. Like, Phillies are the worst team in baseball. Sixers aren't doing too well. Flyers, they made a great signing in Gagne, even though I'm not really into hockey.
Yeah.
And Eagles, I just hope we have a good season this year.
If they don't, it's all on Chip Kelly. It's all on Chip Kelly. 110%. This guy is on the hook.
I'm being patient. I'm fine with it as long as it.
Well, you have to. You got to be patient. I don't think with a lot of your Philly teams, you don't really have a choice.
Yeah, especially the Phillies, man.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to be waiting a long time there, bud.
You know the team's bad when your manager just decides to quit.
You know, I felt so bad for Ryan Sandberg. You know, I'm a Cubs fan, and I love Rhino. I felt so bad for Rhino, dude. He got passed over for the Cubs job on multiple occasions. And, you know, then to go over to Philly to replace a legend, you know, by the way, people kind of forget that. And then just get completely screwed over. And it's not, I don't blame him for that team losing. I don't think it had anything to do with him.
I blame Ruben.
Yeah, you have to. He should have traded Hamels last year. They should have got rid of Ryan Howard 2-3 years ago. Just Chase Utley. He waited too long on all these guys. It's crazy. It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah. I didn't realize, but we traded Hamels and Ruiz yesterday to Baltimore.
What?
Right? Yeah, that's what.
No.
My brother was.
No. That did not happen.
That didn't happen.
No, that did not happen. If it happened, then that is, I cannot believe. I would have opened with that. That's huge news. No way.
Yeah, it was like it came out of nowhere. So
I think your brother was messing with you, buddy.
Yeah, but
because they're still asking the world for him. I don't think anyone's going to pay what they want.
Yeah.
Well, Samardzija is going to be available for a lot less. I mean, he's not the pitcher Hamels is, but he's going to be available for a hell of a lot less, and he's a solid 3 or 4 for another team. Cueto, who's younger than Hamels, you know, he might be a little bit more available as far as what it's going to take to get him. You know, so there's a lot of guys that might be on the block here, and I'm sure there's going to be a few surprises that people weren't expecting to get moved. That's going to really hurt the Phillies as far as getting rid of Hamels.
Yeah, I just can't stand Ruben Amaro because
nobody can.
He came out on Twitter and said that we weren't gonna be good until at least 2017.
He's probably right.
And in an interview earlier this season, he came out and called all the Phillies fans bitches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, look, the Cubs did it a couple years ago. They told everybody they were not going to be good for at least 3 to 4 years, and you got to be patient. But here's the thing. The Cubs drafted well. They traded people well. They got pieces. They made great trades. The Phillies told everybody, hey, we're going to be great in 3 or 4 years, but they did nothing to prepare for it. How does that work? You know, that's not how this works. It's not how any of this works. I love that commercial.
Yeah, that's my favorite commercial. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I remember because in 2011, the year we won 102 games, which was our last good season. It was probably one of our best seasons.
Yeah.
Probably the best season. We got rid of all our top prospects, all our draft picks for players that aren't even on the team anymore.
Yep, that's kind of how it goes.
We traded our top 2 draft picks to the top 2 prospects, to the Astros for Hunter Pence. And he stayed for not even half a season.
Oh, wow. That's
even though he was great. And our team is just... the only person that's young and talented for the Phillies right now is Maikel Franco. You have to admit he's having a pretty good season.
He's a good kid. A good player.
Really he's been playing great recently. And I just hope Ruben Amaro doesn't make any more mistakes and we keep him.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Because he looks to have a bright future.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
And I just don't get why we still have Howard because we're paying him I think like somewhere around like 8 to 10 mil a
He's
year.
unmovable. He's that's why they have him. He's unmovable. What are they going to do with him? Who's going to take him?
No one, so.
Yeah, no one's going to take him. You got anything else for me, bud?
I don't know. What do you think about the Sixers? What do you think about?
I think they're a disgrace to the NBA. That's what I think about. Well, because they swindled another team. They purposely lied to another organization about a player. They said, "Hey, here, take this guy. I forgot his name. I'll get it. He's healthy.
Drew Holiday.
Yeah, Drew Holiday. Thank you. That's right. He's healthy. Take him. He's good." And then boom, not healthy, and they lied about it and covered it up. And they got a $3 million fine, and it's disgraceful. They should have got a hell of a lot more than that. They got off really light. I think it's absolutely disgusting what they did. And I'll tell you why. It's not just you're screwing over a competitor. Because remember, owners are not just competitors with each other. They're partners that keep the NBA afloat. And these are business partners. And you have to be straight with your business partners, and you can't fuck them over like that. So you throw in that, you talk about the blatant tanking that they've done over the last 2 years, and it's just disgusting. I think the 76ers should be kicked out of the league. Yes, I think there should be no more 76ers for at least 5 years. Bring up a fucking summer league team. Bring up a developmental team. Because honestly,
The way the Sixers have sorry.
No, go ahead.
The way the Sixers have been playing, it's like there hasn't been a team for 5 years because they're playing fucking awful.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but I don't get why. Because we traded Drew Holiday to the Pelicans for Nerlens Noel because that's who they drafted that year.
Yeah.
And which we didn't really need because we got Michael Carter Williams. Now he's gone now.
Yeah.
So
Traded
and
him
now
too.
we have centers.
So Nerlens can't
that.
play. Embiid can't get on the court. You know what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I say we should have just kept Holiday because our starting five would have been Carter Williams, Drew Holiday. I think it's whoever our small forward. I think it's we're getting someone from Croatia who we drafted last year who's supposed to be good, but he's just contract in Europe. Then Embiid and Okafor.
Embiid's out for another year. Embiid might not play next year.
Yeah,
he's hurt. He can't get on the court, man. He's what's his name from Ohio State? He's
D'Angelo Russell?
No. The bust from Ohio State a few years back.
Greg Oden.
Yeah, Greg Oden. He's Greg Oden. That's who he is. That's who he is.
That's not. But if it is, then I don't know, because if you saw like the pregame warm-ups he was doing, which is probably why he's still hurt because he was going way too hard in practices and pregame warm-ups.
Yeah.
He was able to swish like 6 3-pointers from the corner. Not even like there are videos on the Sixers Twitter page.
You got to be able. Look, to be a professional in any sport, you can't just be good at something. You got to know how to train. You got to know how to rehab. You have to know how to take care of your body. If he can't stay healthy because he goes too hard or whatever, then you know what? He doesn't belong in the friggin' league, plain and simple. By the way, for those of you wondering, I went off camera because it's getting dark here in Germany. Finally, it's 8:30 at night. The sun's going down pretty soon. And I don't want to turn on the light because I'm fat and sweaty, and I don't want to sweat anymore. So no light for me, so I took off the camera. It wasn't some crazy thing where I'm like masturbating off camera. So don't worry. It's all good. You got anything else for me, bud?
I like the Okafor pick though. I feel like he has a lot of potential. He's a talented big man on the offensive end. Just has to work on his defense a little bit. And he's like, the thing I like about him the most is like I've seen like a couple like they shown like clips from like summer league practices and some games. He's always having a smile on his face, and like you don't really see that a lot in the NBA. He's playing, he's having fun. I like that about him.
Well, too bad they can't play for a team that's going to be any good. So I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I was like, why is he smiling, dude? You're playing in Philly.
They're still quite a ways off, but it's a dysfunctional organization. They're not as dysfunctional as the Cleveland Browns, but they're awfully close. So I feel bad for you, bud. But You know what?
Um,
I respect that you're still a fan of the Sixers. That's good for you.
Philly fans are always passionate, and if we have to wait a few years just to get back to our glory days, man, I'm fine with that.
Agreed.
I'm willing to wait.
Agreed. Well, look, I appreciate the call. I think I'm going to wrap this thing up. The calls have dried up. There's really not a lot going on in the chat. I don't really have much else to talk about, and I'm fat and sweaty and hot, and the Cubs are coming on, or they are on. I want to go watch them. Yeah, but if you got something else, please go ahead.
Ian Sloan, you're off the grid. Go fuck yourself.
That's right. You're off the grid. You don't have to tell him to go fuck himself, but he is off the grid because he has gone crazy on, I don't know what he's done. He's pissed me off. I don't know why. He's off my grid. That doesn't mean anything. He's just off the grid. But you're still on the grid, Chris Warren.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Yeah, you should be, buddy. Take it easy, man.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for the call. I appreciate everybody calling and watching tonight's show. Don't have a lot more to talk about. It's been kind of a slow wrestling week as far as other things besides what we already got into, but we did cover the Tokyo show. We covered a lot of other things. So make sure you guys go over to Shofton Point Live, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with my boy Tommy C. Make sure you go check him out. Also, Joe Cronin, the Joe Cronin Show. We did 5 hours of Monetize This yesterday. Probably a good half hour of it. Really good. Other than that, it's okay. But go watch that craziness, train wreck, whatever. I know you guys love blood in the water. So make sure you go check that out as well. And go over to my Spreadshirt site, Dead on Dave, Spreadshirt.com. Go check that out and get yourself a copious shirt or a copious club shirt or a sweatshirt or something, a copious cup. Drink from my face, people. Drink from my face. Make sure you do all that. Also, check out my boy, Real Talk, the Metaphor Messiah, the official musician of Dead on Dave Productions. And we're going to close with his theme music in just a moment. His wonderful entrance song for me, the great Brock Lesnar, which, by the way, I did tweet to Paul Heyman at Heyman Hustle. If you want to tweet that theme to him, go to SoundCloud. Click the link, highlight the link and stuff and put it in a tweet to Paul Heyman. Send that song, Brock Lesnar, to Paul Heyman. And maybe we can get him to recognize it. Maybe follow good old Dead on Dave. Say, hey, Paul, my buddy Dead on Dave, the guy over on YouTube, the talking head. He thinks you're great. His theme song has been written for him. It's called Brock Lesnar. Check it out, Paul. Now, granted, that's not 140 characters, but I know that you guys are smart and industrious, and you'll figure out a way to make it fit. So, nothing else to really talk about. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys very much. I hope you enjoyed everything that you guys saw this week in wrestling. Kelvin Acosta looks like a new guy. Dave, I like your show. Hey, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. I do appreciate you watching. AJ Tucker, great show, Dave. Thank you very much. Isaac A says, did Joe break another window? I don't think he did, but you never know with him. Ian Sloan, who continues to try to goad me, wanted me to talk about Andy Murray. I won't. Haha. Off the grid. You know what? You're no longer... Dave, I forgive you. Ian, I was putting you back on the grid. But guess what? You're still off the grid. Unbelievable. Dark Angel 595, old friend of mine from my high school days, as a matter of fact, says Aldridge will sign a 4-year, $80 million contract with the Spurs. Tim Duncan comes back. That makes me happy. It should make you very happy. And I'll tell you why. It's a great deal for the Spurs. They're going to be able to make it work. They're also going to really get into, what's his name, Ginobili, to try to get him to come back for another season. And that should be very helpful to him. Having Aldridge on that team is huge. It's a big get for the Spurs. I think the Spurs still have a few more things that they're going to have to do to make all the numbers work, but it should help them fill out the rest of their roster. Re-signing Kawhi Leonard, who is your superstar, is huge. But now having an inside and outside presence is going to make the Spurs top contenders once again coming out of the West. It's awesome. It's huge. It's so big for the Spurs. Aldridge going there is huge. So very cool, very good sign. I was really, really happy with that signed by the Spurs. I was surprised that he decided to go there, but he's a Texas boy, so it made a lot of sense. So, but man, it's not as much about the Spurs winning as it is about the Lakers losing. The Lakers losing. I don't know. They lost that on this guy, and the Lakers continue to be sucktacular. But again, other than that, I think I'm about done. Oh, yes, and Danny Green resigned. That's right. Good for them. But other than that, I think that's all I got. So I appreciate you guys checking me out. I don't want to stretch for another 20 more minutes. I don't. If I have something rock solid, rock hard to talk about, then I will. But other than that, I think it's time to go. So check out everyone that I told you to check out, and make sure in 20 minutes you stick around and go over to Tommy C. Shop the Point Live. Most badass hockey podcast in all the known land. So go check him out. And we'll see you next time right here on Dead on Day Productions. Like, subscribe, and share. And remember, as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends. We'll see you next time. Peace!
Okay, here we go. I can show them how to do it when I'm in the zone. Before we start, let me puff that indigo. If I thrust, guaranteed you gon' feel it though. My intro for this real shit. When I walk the bridge and we built it. Two hoes got the boy on kill clip. My team good and we rollin'. It ain't really hard to see that I'm fresher. I'm a F5 with Brock Lesnar. We ain't got time to listen. Yo, lecture. Let him put the title up and I get your bitch. Asking we ain't never made up. When the times got rough, we ain't never gave up. Boy, you next to the one like Morpheus. So the NLO can't fuck with us. That's real talk in this purple rain. Know some real dudes that'll bring the pain. Stay fresh, rock shades like Johnny K. So they got a bad bitch, no song you play. He ain't put in work, we can ask your girl. Mad cause he said I'm the best in the world. When it comes to the game, they honor me. I destroy your league, Sean Connery. That's a mirror picture what I'm clone like. Team on like a hard light. Love bad girls that's all night. With a gang of weed and we all right. Found my inner Himoli. We don't run from victory. Keep pouring off that Smirnoff. I've been a boss like Tommy C. We work hard, ain't nobody that's fresh. You ain't gotta compromise, gotta analyze. Cause they call the boy Brock Lesnar. Bitch, my partner Dave, he dead on. When they call me smoking, I was in the zone. Take control of your destiny. Lord knows I do it for the family, and that's real. We work hard, ain't nobody that's fresh. You ain't gotta compromise, gotta analyze. Cause they call the boy Brock Lesnar. Bitch, my partner Dave, he dead on. When they call me smoking, I was in the zone. Take control of your destiny. Lord knows I do it for the family, and that's real. Okay, stop the hate. Can't stand y'all hoes that imitate. All you lames in the game trying to perpetrate. Make it hard for a G that'll percolate. Got good shit for your brain. I came up from spitting my pain. Weed that I smoke be keeping me sane.